Candace Harris with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Brian Neff and Banana Chan from Avalon Hill, taking a look at Betrayal at Mystery Mansion. Scooby-Dooby-Doo! Hi guys, how's it going? Can you guys tell us what Betrayal at Mystery Mansion is all about?
Yeah, so thanks for having us. Basically, Betrayal is sort of just like this game where a whole bunch of you are the Scooby gang, the Scooby team, and you're trying to figure out this mystery, right? So usually it's a person who's pretending to be a monster, and you sort of have to discover who it is and solve this mystery together. And just sort of like Betrayal, in the middle of the game, one of you turns into the villain, the monster, and you sort of have to just act as the villain and try to defeat the rest of your team.
Oh, nice. It looks like Nikki's got it kind of set up a little bit down there.
And Brian, feel free to chime in if you have
for sure.
anything else that you want to add to that.
So we've got Lincoln doing a little bit of the setup down here, it looks like. So a lot of it looks like a standard Betrayal game. You have sort of your character cards that you can see down there at the bottom. And then you've got those clips on them. You've got like that.
Nice.
Got the best character in all of Scooby-Doo, Velma Dinkler. And then you have each of those tiles. Oh yes, and obviously we have our Scooby-Doo. And then you have the tiles. And as you're exploring the house, you will flip those tiles. And so each time you go and explore this haunted mansion, it's going to look a little bit different because you'll have a different arrangement and different events and all of that sort of stuff. Anybody who is familiar with Betrayal at House on Haunted Hill or Betrayal Legacy or, Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, sort of knows what that looks like. I like how the back of those inside tiles are a little bit transparent on that green screen. It's super cool.
Yeah, so how does a turn work, or how does one explore? Because I've actually never played Betrayal before.
Oh, cool.
Cool. Yeah, I can sort of run you through a turn. I can sort of manipulate Lincoln like a ghost. So the turn starts with the gang all on top of the mystery machine. So if you want to place just a couple of standees on top of the mystery machine, perfect. So that's our entire gang. And then we will go around and take turns exploring. So a game of Betrayal is split into two separate parts. You have the beginning of the game, which is exploration, and then you have the end of the game, which is the haunt. So at the beginning of the game, we really don't know how to win the game. Each of those scenarios is in the two books that are up there in the corner. Whoops. Here, I got them right here. So we've got the Secrets of Survival and the Monster's Tome. So we're going to explore until we find enough clues to trigger what is called the haunt. And then we will open up the book, find out which haunt we're doing, and then, I don't know if there you go. And then we will figure out which haunt we're doing. So on a turn to explore, you will take your character card. So Lincoln, do you want to be Scooby-Doo? Do you want to take a turn with Scooby?
And I think it's actually Nikki that's running.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize. So if you're taking a turn with Scooby, you'll go ahead and look at your speed. And you can move however many tiles. Yeah, so your speed is 4. And you can move up to 4 tiles in any direction until you hit an open door. So Scooby's speed is 4, but his special ability is that he can move an extra turn, so he can move up to 5 spaces. So what you'll do is you'll just take your standee and you'll move it through any open doorway that's up to 4 spaces away. And we got Scooby sort of in front of the camera. There we go. Perfect. And then so if you go through an open doorway, either on the top or the bottom, you'll take one of those tiles and then you'll just flip it face up. There you go. And then you'll place yourself on that tile. Sometimes tiles will have symbols on them that correspond to those 3 decks up at the top, clues, items, and events. Yeah, okay. Those are things that happen whenever you run into that tile. So I can't actually see what that tile is, but there's probably, I think it might be an item. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
So there's an item in that well, so we can fish into that well and see what Scooby-Doo gets.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to draw an item. Perfect. We found a vase in there. Each of the items has a special ability that gives us something cool to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then the next player. And how many people can play this together?
So the game goes 3 to 5. Yeah, we got our pizza token, the best token, and a spotlight on the back. So, the game plays 3 to 5. And it plays, at each player count, plays a little bit differently. So yeah.
And if you're playing a 3-player game, would you still use all the characters, or does everybody just pick one character and control that one character?
Oh, so you control your specific character? Yes.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't sure,
so
Brian, if you want to answer that or not.
Okay. I thought it froze for a second. I was like, okay. So so you would just pick one character. Everybody has one character, and they're controlling them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if you want to, if you'll grab that stack of outside tiles and you'll search for a tile that has the spyglass on it, a clue. Yeah, there we go. So those are sort of the special tiles in the game. And whenever you find one of those tiles, you will grab a clue from the clue stack. And the clues are special. They are a lot like items, but they have a little bit of text at the bottom. Yeah, and they say, hey, actually grab the exact same card, the treasure chest. They say, make a haunt roll now. And that's sort of the special part. So at the beginning of the game, we don't know how to win. But we do know a little bit of the mystery that's going on. So there are these 5 mystery cards that are included that have a little bit of text on them as well. Yeah, there we go. Get a big one for the camera. And it's got a thing on the back of it that says, if you find this clue, yeah, there you go. That's the haunt that you'll turn to. So if we pretend like we explored for a little bit, and we drew, let's say the book on this one, then we would make a haunt roll, and if the haunt went off, we would turn to haunt number 17 in the book.
Okay.
And
how do we know if the haunt?
Do you want to do Monster's Tome, or do you want me to do Monster's Tome?
You can do the Monster's Tome. Yay. Sorry, what was that question?
I was just asking, how do you know if the haunt goes off? Is it like a majority of
so what you do is you roll 6 dice. Okay. And if you get less than or equal to the number of clues that are out, the haunt begins. Ah,
gotcha.
Yeah, so when you find, yeah. So that one, if we had 2, 4, 6, 7 other clues out, then the haunt would begin.
Okay. So we're going to pretend the haunt's going to begin.
Yeah, and so we pretend the haunt's going to begin. So it's got a bunch of text. It's got some sort of setup text right at the beginning, and then it's got a big old setup column. And the reason that sort of Betrayal is unique and fits so well with Scooby-Doo is because each episode of Scooby-Doo is like its own sort of haunt. If you've played an original thing, or if you've played the original Betrayal, for people that haven't, the haunt tells us how to win the game. And so the good guys get the Secrets of Survival book that is up right now. And then whoever is playing the monster gets the Monster's Tome. And so it turns into sort of a 1 versus many game. And, the character that is turning into the monster sort of gets kidnapped and off the board. And then the player who's controlling that character becomes whatever the monster is. Yeah.
Yeah, so if we were to use Haunt 17 as an example, is that what we're using?
Yeah.
We would start replenishing the board and like adding all the tokens that are on that haunt itself. So underneath, you should be able to see all the different setup rules.
I think that's the Monsters Tome. If you switch over to the other book,
Tome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so it says here you would choose a player to be the monster, and then you would start adding the junk tokens all over the place, and you would have like escape tokens for the monsters. But this one doesn't actually have escape tokens, like the specific haunt doesn't have them. But you would put treasure tokens on tiles and just go through setup as you usually would according to the instructions.
Cool. You guys, you got a comment from Katie Okami saying, I love Betrayal and Scooby-Doo. As soon as I knew about this, I was so happy.
Yay.
Is this game currently released, or is it an upcoming release?
This came out today.
Wow, congratulations. That's awesome. And where can people get it? Just any retail
I think you could
outlet?
buy it on, yeah, you could go to Walmart or even purchase it online. I believe there was a pre-order system before, but now you could probably get it online or get it.
Amazon has copies, yeah.
Yeah, Amazon as well.
There's another question from Iron Spice. Are there plans for more episodes, like Haunted Amusement Park or such?
Oh, we have that already in the haunt. So there are several different haunts in the books themselves. There are 25. So we handpicked a few of them. Some of them are also based on the movies. So we have
Cool.
the cat people movie.
Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island.
Zombie Island, yes, that one was so good. But our favorites are definitely the Warlock of Wimbledon, and I personally really like the record label one, the Disc Demon episode. So that's my favorite.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Nice.
if you've watched any of the first 3 seasons of Scooby-Doo or any of the other sort of movies that are around, a lot of that stuff is represented here. We started with Banana watching a whole ton of Scooby-Doo in a very short period of time. And the rest of us sort of followed along swiftly. And we picked out 25 different episodes and movies that we thought translated really well to haunts. And turned those into haunts sort of as we went. Banana did a whole bunch of work on the writing and sort of getting the mechanics together for all of the episodes. So it was watching a lot of Scooby-Doo, which is not the worst way to spend the weekend or a couple of weeks or a couple of months.
Yeah, I grew
It was
up
a fun
watching
time.
Scooby-Doo. Let's see if there are any more questions in the chat. Guys, we have more time. So is there anything else you guys want to talk about, either specifically with Betrayal at Mystery Mansion or Mystery Mountain, or anything else going on in Avalon Hill? Any more background info on this?
I guess we could talk about the different tokens. So some of the tokens will not be used for specific haunts. So you're going to be picking and choosing some of those tokens based on like what the haunt is going to tell you to do. So like the pizza token is probably going to be for, let me just double check to make sure this is right. I think it was
It's the Ghostly Gondolier, whichever that one
yeah, what was that called?
Oh, it's an episode of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, it's
Number
definitely-
23, Menace in Venice.
There we go. Okay, Menace in Venice, you would have pizza. And then you would have like treasure tokens for some of these. There's the timer track for the Warlock of Wimbledon, but instead of it being used as a timer, it's like a little bit of dexterity that's integrated into this one. So I don't want to
cool.
spoil it too much, but it was an interesting
cool.
play test for sure.
Yeah, the big focus that we had on this one is Betrayal is sort of an older game as far as modern games go. You know, I don't. It sort of hurts me to call a game that was released in 2004 old, but you know, it's older as far as sort of modern games go. And the really big focus was Betrayal at House on the Hill and Betrayal at Baldur's Gate were both sort of 14 and up releases. And one of the things that we really wanted to do with this one is we wanted to make sure that it was accessible to sort of kids and families and a little bit of a younger audience to go along with the theme. So a lot of the rules are much more accessible, written a little bit more plainly and repeated sort of multiple times throughout the books, just so that players sort of have it in front of them for when they're doing that sort of stuff. The other thing that we did is these games are significantly shorter than like a normal Betrayal game. So usually a game of Betrayal at Mystery Mansion will last about 45 minutes to an hour, rather than a game of original Betrayal, which could last an hour and a half or 2 hours or things like that. So we really wanted to make sure this was accessible if you wanted to sit down with your kids and play it, or sit down or have your kids sit down with their friends and play it, and sort of introduce them to board games that way.
Very, very cool. There are a couple more questions.
Sure.
Danaga Moose is asking, is it in distribution to local game stores as well?
Yeah, I believe so.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You should probably get. You could probably get at your local game store.
And then Katie Okami is asking, would there be a translated version?
So I don't think so right now. That is probably a question for our product manager. She might be able to give a few more sort of insights as far as that goes.
Okay. And then Denagamoose also asked, does it have Scooby snacks? But I think Nikki just put those up on the close-up right as that question
You want to
came in.
show some Scooby snacks?
Yeah, I put them all in one bag. So how I like to put my pieces is I like to put all the pieces that will be set up in the beginning all together. So these are what the Scooby snacks look like. Oh yeah, you got them on the board.
They're adorable. And the pizzas.
Yeah, Scooby snacks are, as soon as we started working on this, we were like, we gotta have Scooby snacks. Gotta have Scooby snacks in every episode.
And then how often are you adjusting your character's kind of stats throughout the game, or does that depend on what items you're getting? And
so relatively frequently.
Okay.
A lot of, in fact, most of the tiles in the game have this sort of event symbol on them. And so if you want to grab a couple of event cards and just sort of flip them face up, you can give a decent example of sort of what those look like.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. So a lot of them are like, hey, you need to make a roll. And it's separated into 4 traits like it is in the original Betrayal. We have brains, might, courage, and speed. So it'll tell you to make a type of roll. And basically what that means is you grab that many dice. So if your might is 4, you grab 4 dice, and then you make a roll. Then you check whatever it. Ooh, that's not a very good roll. You check whatever the result on that table is. So if we were looking at the locked box and we had that very bad roll of a 1, you would actually take a damage. And taking a damage just means reducing one of your traits by 1. If we had that amazing roll of a 6, we would actually draw an item card. Betrayal dice are special. They aren't 1 through 6. They're 6-sided dices that have 0s, 1s, and 2s on them. So it's possible to roll 8 dice and get a 0. It's possible to roll 2 dice and get a 4. All of these things are things that have happened. Usually to me in playtests.
And then I see, out of my curiosity, I see you have like inside and outside tiles. On the tile where you're exploring, does it indicate which one you're going to flip, whether it's an inside or outside? Or is it just obvious to know, okay, this is leading outside or this is leading inside the mansion?
So there are 2 regions in the game. which is inside and outside. So you actually have the board separated kind of into two halves.
Gotcha.
So yeah, what is on the left over here is the inside, and then what's on the right is the outside. And so whenever you're exploring outside, you flip an outside tile. Whenever you're exploring inside, you flip an inside tile. And you can go from the mystery machine to the entrance hall sort of at will.
Okay. That's cool.
And there may be a couple of like events that allow you to move between regions or secret passages or things like that.
Very cool. And how many, like in a typical game, how many tiles end up coming out on average?
Less than in a normal Betrayal game.
Okay.
But still, you're getting a pretty decently explored house. So usually it's between 12 and 15 tiles.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the state that Nikki has set up for us and wondering, like, is that close to the end of the game looking, or are we midway?
That's probably like midway through.
Yeah, that's like a middle of the game.
Yeah.
A lot of it depends on dice rolls, though. So, it's possible that if you don't find a lot of clues when you're exploring early, you'll end up with a really, really big house. And if you find a lot of clues really quickly, the haunt will start and you'll have a really, really small house and it'll be cramped. That's sort of part of the Betrayal experience, is you end up with these like really crazy different board states that you sort of have to navigate and figure out what you're going to do. The biggest thing that we did is myself and our other lead designer, Noah, also worked on Betrayal Legacy. And so we put a lot of time and math into sort of the Betrayal system and figuring out sort of how to get games more in the middle of the bell curve as far as time and, that sort of stuff. So a lot of that knowledge sort of came over into here. So, we have some of the sort of like, on the second clue that we found, a haunt goes off and we only have 4 rooms explored, but it happens way, way less frequently.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, thanks, guys. So this is Betrayal at Mystery Mansion. Thank you, Banana Chan and Brian Neff from Avalon Hill.